Hey guys, I'm Brian.
And I'm Terry.
And welcome to the Forest to Farm project.
We're back again.
Yep, we've been talking about it for a week and a half. We're finally going to build this wall.
Yeah. We didn't want to put a bunch of studs in the way and need to get in here and out, so climbing through all that mess. So we just waited. This time.
It's about there. We got to do this, and then we got to round up as far as spray foam, nail plate, make sure everything's done properly, and then it'll be inspection time.
We'll do it.
All right.
Okay guys, we're going to close this door hole in today, and as you can see, it's already got a header. This was a door. It's got the jacks. It's all structurally sound as should have been, you know, in the original construction. We're closing the door hole in. We don't have to do any supporting structure of any kind. We just simply need to put some framing members in here that's going to support the sheetrock on the inside, and then we're going to put some more of this black board like this right here on it that we salvaged from the wall we tore out, and then we're going to cover that with some sheetrock that meets the current fire codes. You have to have 5/8 sheetrock covering this area. We don't have to do the whole garage because it's existing, but we do need to cover this area that we're opening up. It's crazy, but that's the way they do it. So let's get to this. First off, we're going to need to scab two 2x6s on here to match what's here in the current wall. So this modern lumber is much thinner, apparently, than the older lumber, and we need to fill that gap. When we do any kind of work where we're ripping lumber down for anything, if it's a decent piece like this right here, we save it, and I can't tell you how many times these little scraps have come in handy. So we're gonna cut this to fit a couple strips here, but I'll show you what it's gonna do for us. When we get that in there, that is going to allow us to pretty much perfectly fill that gap. A tiny bit off, but it's very little, so that should do it. Then we're gonna get these joists cut, then we're gonna need a bottom plate. So what we're gonna need as far as studs is, we'll go ahead and match the pattern we have here so that when we go to sheetrocking, it's floor to ceiling the same pattern. So basically we're going to put another jack stud here and another jack stud there on top of our little bottom plate. Let's get some of this stuff cut up and put it in. So we had a couple pieces of scrap 15-30 seconds floorboard, so we scabbed it on here. Just had to trim it down a little bit. Worked out perfect. We always hang on to our scraps at least till we finish a project. I see guys cutting pieces and throw them in the trash pile, and then they're cutting more pieces, and I'm like, you just cut a 3-foot piece and there's one laying over there, and you cut another one. Use up what you got. Okay, let's see what we got here, and it's going to be the same 35 and 5/8. Let's get that cut. Okay, guys and gals, a lot of women out there that are good carpenters, by the way. We got a mess what we got here. First off, we are required by code, the area that we're finishing out has to be a firewall. So we need 5/8 sheetrock over this. Unfortunately, we got to cover up this tongue and groove looking, board and batten type style. It's not really, but it's got that groove to simulate it. We're just going to have to cover this end of it up with some sheetrock. So anyway, we're going to scab on all this from this joist up. But we want to be able to access under here because there's water pipes, and our panel is accessible from there, and it's also accessible through that band, as you saw in earlier videos, getting into the crawl space. So we just have to kind of cobble this together the best we can. We're going to put a piece of this treated, has to be treated on the floor. Anything touching concrete or brick has to be treated. This old stuff wasn't, but modern stuff has to be. So we're going to run a piece of treated across this whole floor right here. We're going to run this from here down to here, so it'll be longer than this, and it's all going to be treated. But as you can see, we're hitting that brick. We could break that brick off so that we could get up here, but it might break further back than we want. So rather than to risk that, another scrap piece of that flooring as far down as we can come, which looks like to right here where this brick's poking out, somewhere right in there. We're going to cut this off, this end we're going to use. We're going to scab that on there. Then we're going to put our 2x4 on there, and it'll clear that brick. And we'll come back after we're finished and some kind of little wood trim, maybe that wide down through here. That was Brian's idea, just to dress it up a little bit. And this is going to be, also has to be fire rated because that goes into our crawl space and it's exposed to the garage. And they want a fire rating between the garage and any living space, including the crawl space. So we're going to make a removable panel with plywood, and then we'll have the 5/8 sheetrock mounted to that, and we'll have like 4 screws going into this little framework we're building that you can just pull that off, get up under there and work, and then screw it back up there. So, given the fact that we have a very irregular surface here where the old door frame was in the concrete, if you remember seeing in an earlier video when we tore this door out, it's that way on both sides. We decided to cut this off at a 45 and make it close to the brick. And what we're going to come do is come back, we're going to nail all this frame in, put this in here the best that we can, put our uprights in here, and then when we come back and do our little molding here, we'll spray foam from behind with a fire spray foam. It's the orange spray foam that you can buy. We use it for our electrical work, and we'll foam that up, seal it up, and that'll be fire sealed. So let's see what we need for the uprights. That looks like it's going to work out. Luckily for us, it's pretty flat, not perfect, but that concrete's waving. Not much we can do with it. Well, when we do a project like this and I look at it, I'm like, man, this is going to look awful. Turned out pretty good. It usually does, but looking at it, as rough as it was, you know, it didn't look too good. But we'll trim this out. We don't have any tap cons, unfortunately, but we will buy some. And this wall we're going to keep open for now. Those of you who have been following along know that this is a addition. Well, it's an extension of our house. Kitchen's right there. We're extending the kitchen out into this, what was a storage room. So we have to fireproof this wall, as we said earlier. We'll do that in a later video. We want to leave it open right now so the inspector can come in and get out, in and out. So this is the wall that's shared with the kitchen. This whole wall is coming out. The top plate, these studs, the bottom plate. This is going to make our kitchen 50 something, well, about 60 inches wider than it was. We're not going to take this wall out till we get a rough-in inspection. Inside, there's nothing to rough in. It's already existing sheetrock and outlets and cabinets and everything. The refrigerator and washer are coming out here and dryer. That's going to change a little bit, but the outlets are pretty much staying the same. This is the only place we have to get a rough-in inspection. So we're going to come in here in the next video probably and round everything up. We've got to seal some holes with foam like that, fire foam right there. If you use the orange kind, it's fire stop as well as foam for air draft. If you use the yellow, it's only good for air draft. You put a lighter to it, it'll actually burn. The orange costs a little more, but buy it. It's much better, trust me. And it's more dense, it's solid. This this holds up. The yellow stuff kind of just busts up really easy. And we've looked at it years down the road when we went back to old jobs, and the yellow stuff literally disintegrates over time. It doesn't hold up. The orange is the way to go. A little more money, well worth it.
Well, Dad built us a beautiful wall here.
Yeah.
And
Brian's every bit as capable, but he's filming this project and I'm doing it.
It's the way it works out sometimes.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
I'll get my show time later on.
Yeah.
But it's looking good, nice and solid. And like you said, we'll round up everything else in the next video, get this thing ready for inspection. Hopefully next week we get it inspected, and then we can tear out a wall and have some fun. Start moving that kitchen around.
Sounds like a blast to me.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to look a lot better once we get this wall tore out, get all this stuff finished out.
Filming is going to be a lot easier when we tear that wall out too. We'll have a lot bigger space to work in.
Yeah. Oh, we have to get the rough-in inspection for what we've done now and get everything fire caulked, and we'll show you that in the next video. Then we have to get another inspection before we can sheetrock, and that is insulation inspection. They want to see you insulate and see that everything's sealed up properly. So we'll go through, we'll do a video on that as well.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's when we'll have to start getting to the point of closing this wall up. And we might cut one section of that out where you can get through to get in here and look.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
We're going to be rocking and rolling soon.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, guys, for following along. We really appreciate it. And hope you guys, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button below. Click the bell next to the subscribe button so you get notifications. We post more of these awesome videos. And give us a big thumbs up if you like what you see.
See you next time.
Have a good one.